Yo, what was that? Did you guys hear that?
No.
Is that just me?
What did you hear?
Okay, so the intro isn't. Oh, I got the other YouTube tab open. Nice, great way to start it. Anyways, nailed it. Welcome everybody. Welcome one and all to the Chilla Jones AMA. We're back. Chilla, this is the second AMA you've ever done.
Yes.
Really cool. Thank you for
back for more. Back for more.
Amazing. The subreddit loves you. This is the official YouTube channel for the subreddit r/RapBattles. My name is Copasetic, and with me, as always,
Pathogenic.
Bong bong.
Bong bong.
And man, what a great day for an AMA. AMA stands for Ask Me Anything You Don't Know. Jump in the comments. Feel free to ask questions or post them in the thread on Reddit. r/RapBattles is, of course, the largest online forum for the international culture of battle rap. You can find us on Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, and the official Discord server in the links below. It's the only place for fans to go for battle rap news from around the globe. Intro complete.
That's such a beautiful spiel, man.
Thank you.
And it rhymes.
Yeah, rhymes help, Rhymes help.
I like that.
I love that you love it. Yeah, we're gonna have a good time today. We've got some good questions, and let's just start. Chilla, how are you doing? What's going on with Chilla these days?
I'm doing really well, man. I recently opened a school for lyricism.
Pendulum Inc., right?
Pendulum Inc. It is, yes, sir. Oh. That has been quite the experience, but honestly, I love it, man. Like it's brought kind of a new perspective, a new passion on like life and the craft. To be able to help and influence and really like take what we do as rappers and put a science to it in order to make it like, more digestible for the average person. It's been such a dope experience and a dope process. There are a lot of hip hop legends, hip hop vets who are also like into the idea, have come check out the classes and even volunteered to speak at the school to, a lot of the students that are enrolled. So it's been dope, man. Like most of my day-to-day time is going toward that right now. And I'm loving it.
Amazing. And you're a part owner. Am I right in saying that?
Yes. Owner and founder, co-founder with Mickey Fax. Salute to Mickey Fax.
Very cool. Yeah. I'm seeing stuff about that all the time. I can't imagine how rewarding that must be.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Definitely cooler than any classes I took.
Me, man, I didn't make it through 10th grade, dude. You know what I mean? So for me, it's even like, obviously I never thought I'd be back in school, but let alone being one of the damn professors. It's like, okay.
The professor.
Curveball.
Let's go. Yeah, super cool. I love seeing stuff like that, and I think that's going really well.
Yeah, thank you.
Seeing all the feedback on that and on Twitter, it seems like there's a lot of support, and what a cool concept, really, to be able to teach these things that you've learned over your many decades of rapping.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And there's other aspects. We also teach like content creation, which give a lot of artists tips and tricks on how to increase their engagement, their fan base, go viral. Yeah. We have, a couple of our students, after taking some of our classes have gone from, a couple thousand views to, we got one guy with like 12 million on a couple videos. We got another person with 2.5 million. We also teach like financial literacy and like, little things like that. Like not just the science of like rapping and how to be a really good rapper, but how to be like a self-sustaining brand in itself, right? Like, for the people who rap, it's a dream to be able to live off your craft and not have to go clock in a 9-to-5 and go bag groceries or any of the other stereotypical shit that, rappers are doing to make a real living.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
So we try to teach that, and we try to, give the artists and the students at our school, the cheat codes, the tips and tricks. This is what we learned. This is how to develop multiple streams of revenue. things of that nature. And I'm loving being able to really impact a lot of people.
That's really it. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, I've been a rapper for a long time here in Vancouver, and I've seen countless artists who are phenomenal at the craft, but have a lot of difficulty putting together the other pieces to the point where they end up giving it up, and that's heartbreaking. When you don't have the other side of the business like that, so it's really
exactly
huge.
yeah. So that also is a really important part, and we're also looking to expand. We're also looking to add other things, different things, in terms of like courses and things like that. But we have everything, like I said, to a content creation course. Mickey Fax does a financial literacy class right now, breaks down contracts, teaches you how to negotiate for shows and battles, all types of different things like that. And then I, of course, teach a battle rap class. So for anybody that's trying to get into battle rap, I'm right there to steer them in the right direction, tell them how to do it, what to do, all those different things. And so hopefully at the end of our school year, which is like mid-November, hopefully I'll be able to get some of these guys placed in like iBattle and No Coast and the leagues like that.
Very cool. Very cool. Very cool way to stay connected, to learn about the craft, to get better. We're going to put the link to Pendulum Inc. The link to Pendulum Inc. Say that 10 times fast. We're going to put that in the description of the video here so everybody can sign up. I'm thinking about signing up. Man, you sold me. Like,
man, Cope, let me know. I'll definitely let you pull up to a class or two just to see, you know what I'm saying, like what it's like and what we do. If you want to pull up tonight, let me know.
I'd be very interested. Gosh knows, I would
such a cool idea.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
So let's get into it. Let's just let's start them up.
Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Let's go.
Do you want to kick it off?
Yeah. So question time. Here's the first question.
Mm-hmm.
And that question is, when you become the face of something, and my example there is like Chef Trez is the three of them things guy. Correct. So when he does a battle, if he doesn't have that, everyone looks at it and they're kind of like, well, that's what we know you for, and you didn't do it.
Right.
And you being the scheme guy, do you feel like the pressure is there every battle where you have to have that, or otherwise people look at it like, eh?
It's a really good question. I can tell you earlier in my career, absolutely. Right? Because I feel like not only was that how I was introduced into the culture, but I had influenced so many other rappers to do it that I felt like there was even more pressure on me to do it to the best, to do it to the to the highest quality, just to prove why I was the scheme guy, even though everybody else is doing it too now, right? Yeah. So for like the first 2 or 3 years, URL and King of the Dot, I absolutely felt kind of pressured and absolutely felt like, man, who wants to go to a Golden State game and see Steph Curry do all layups, right? Like that's not what we're there for, right? So I definitely felt a lot of pressure, in those years to do it. But then there also came a point path where I feel like people were sick of it and people were tired of it, and people were kind of like, yeah, like you do this really well, Chilla, but like, what else? You know what I mean? And it kind of got to a point where people wanted to see me master other things. People wanted to see me, do more with angles, do more with just straight punchlines. They wanted to see me, can he freestyle? Can he rebuttal? It got old after 3 or 4 years, and it kind of forced me to evolve, which I'm forever grateful for, right? Because I feel like I'm way more well-rounded now than I've ever been. Physically also, by the way, I put on a little weight. But yeah, like in the early days, I absolutely felt pressure. As my career went on and I developed more of a skill set, I don't feel that pressure as much now. I feel like if I'm battling a particular opponent and I determine that I want to do more angle based, rapping in that battle, I don't feel like, people are gonna say, well, you didn't ski in that battle. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't want it. You know what I mean? Like, I think I've, you know, and maybe that's a credibility thing, right? Like, maybe that's like people have watched me for so long and people know that I care about the craft that, you know, they give me a little more free reign. But I will say definitely just as difficult as it probably would be for, say, Easy the block captain, who's a newer guy, to not have as much drug talk in his rounds, or for, you know, Kid Slade even is a really good example of that also. When you come into the culture doing something that's new or exciting or refreshing, or you do it in a different way, it's like that's all they want. And then there's literally a very thin timeline where it's like it goes from, this is my 4th battle and everybody wants to hear this, and then this is my 6th battle, and now they're kind of sick of it. Like it's really fast. It happens really fast. So I'm glad I don't feel that pressure as much now. But man, those first few years, it was there, and it was, you know, to add on to that, it was also the pressure of feeling like I needed to duplicate my battle with JC.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of the talk was like, you know, has he peaked too soon? Like him, and, you know, my battle with JC was maybe my 4th or 5th battle ever.
Yeah.
And so, you know, to have that kind of, you know, success and to get that kind of notoriety for that battle, and then to go maybe like a year and a half where, you know, I didn't have performances that were quite as good. And I was scheming and I was doing different things, and it was still kind of like, yeah, maybe that's all this guy has. Like, maybe, you know, maybe that was just a flash in the pan, and, you know, that was it. You know, so that kind of added pressure, I think, even to an extent. You know, up until maybe when I battled Daylight, I kind of felt that pressure go away a little bit because I felt like that was also a really good battle.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, those early years. I feel like those first few years are like the pressure of make or break. So tough.
Yeah, can't even imagine. I think that you could see the same thing with JC a little bit when that you have that battle that has such an impact on the culture. It is far and away my most watched battle, and yeah, and you know, both of you, the perception was just changed instantly. That's really tough.
Yeah.
But here you are, legend status established.
Here we are. Here we are.
Bang, survived it. Okay, now I'm going to come with a real hard-hitting question.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
The one. If you ran a bakery, what would you name it?
I would name it Brethren.
Brethren.
That's fire.
Brethren.
Let's go, Brethren.
As long as it's not Jonestown, because I'm not eating anything from Jonestown.
Man, I don't even want to work there, dude. I'll be honest. I wouldn't be. I wouldn't want to be around. I wouldn't want to be around it. I would say Brethren. We would obviously sell pastries, but just for that Jamaican flavor, let's sell some Jamaican beef patties as well. Some cocoa bread in there.
Okay, nice.
Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking.
This is very solid bakery.
Preface by saying for everyone that there will never be another question as hard as that to come up.
Yeah, it's all downhill after this.
That's the one. That's the one.
Question for you regarding battle rap hardware.
Okay.
Because you were the King of the Dot champ. You have the King of the Dot chain. They're obviously, it's right there.
Wow.
Yeah, it is.
Look at that.
I keep it with me just in case people mention it. That I just pull it out of like my pocket.
And we're talking about, you know, one of the marquee leagues, and you have that hardware. Then you also have the Champion of the Year belt. So again, the ring. Look at that.
I don't know if we can see that so much.
So we're talking. That's crazy.
Sheesh.
Super tough. Super tough. Yes.
We're talking about the two most marquee pieces of battle rap hardware that you can have.
Facts.
Is there anything left regarding battle rap hardware that you
No, probably not. Probably not. I at the time where I was King of the Dot champ, I felt like the reason why I felt like that was the highest, no offense to the Champion of the Year, but the reason why I felt like that was like the highest honor in terms of hardware is because it was like you win it going head to head as opposed to a subjective vote based on your accolades for a particular year, right? Like, in order for me to get this chain, there's literally I have to beat whoever's holding it in the eyes of 5 judges and sometimes a public vote. And then I have to defend it. Champion of the Year is an incredible honor. And it is difficult, to have the best year at this level, with so many politics and different things that actually play into it. But you don't really go head to head for it, right? Like Geechee's the champion of the year, but if you beat Geechee, you don't get to say, "Oh, I'm now the champion of the year for 2021." Like it's changed hands. Like it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And so for me, the King of the Dot chain was kind of like that was kind of the pinnacle for me.
Yeah.
Again, the champion of the year thing obviously is a huge honor. Very happy to have been, voted the best battler of 2020 by bloggers, peers, fans, and all that good stuff. But I don't know if there's anything left for me after that. I don't know. I have things on my bucket list like making it to a Summer Madness, or battling in South Africa. Like I have things like that are kind of like on my list of things to do. The only other thing I can maybe do, is like win a tournament, Grand Prix, Ultimate Madness type of thing. I think that would be the ultimate, like, as far as accolades and accomplishments, like that would be probably like really the cherry on top.
Yeah.
But all things, to be the only person that's won Champion of the Year and held the King of the Dot title, to me, I feel like is just a different level of prestige in the culture.
Cool, in a class of your own, basically.
Exactly.
I feel very strongly that won't be repeated anytime soon.
Man, I don't see it happening unless A-Ward's probably the closest person I could see accomplishing both. But man, the politics are against A-Ward so hard sometimes that it's
What's
like
going on?
They don't really give him the credit he deserves, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, he's incredible. I mean, I think that there was the whole controversy with the last champion of the year is that he's not on URL, but he's mopping up everywhere he goes.
Everywhere.
Yeah,
everywhere.
Yeah, he's something special. Yeah, we should see maybe a word for King of the Dot champion at some point. But speaking of King of the Dot champion,
yes.
I wanted to say, and not just kissing your ass because you're here, but you're my favorite champion outside of the ring, because a lot of people don't know this, but when you were the champ, you were also in the GZ Ground Zero chat, and you started a GZ division where you're from in your region, and you're promoting your talent and throwing events. And I always thought you were very hands-on. You were a lot more community-oriented and more involved than any of the other KOTD champs, which I thought was really cool. You're always putting on for your region. And then that leads us to the resurgence, the return of the Shark Tank.
Yes.
So yeah, can you talk a little bit about that? What's going on with Shark Tank?
Absolutely. The resurgence of Shark Tank. I've partnered with a league in New England called TBL. They're based out of Providence, Rhode Island, but they throw events all over New England. And initially, we had done an event, or they do an event every year called Chow Time, which is typically like a combination of different leagues in New England sending some of their battlers, all battling, competing on one card, kind of like a unity thing. This year, we did a Team Chilla versus a Team Couture.
Right.
She's from Rhode Island. And, we drafted local battlers. We put together the matchups. We were at the event coaching our people. Every battle was judged. It was a super fire event, super fire concept. And, seeing the way that event was run, seeing the way, you know, those guys carry themselves, TBL. You know, to me, it made perfect sense to bring back Shark Tank, you know, in partnership with them. I've been flirting with bringing back Shark Tank for a while. I think you know that, Cope. And like, what kind of held me back from it was feeling like I wouldn't have the time and the energy to like really, you know, give the platform what it deserves. And when I look at guys like Lex, I feel like Lex for iBattle, you know, he lives it, he breathes it, he shits it. Like it's everything to him. You know what I mean? And I'm the same type of person as you saw with the King of the Dot chain. Like, I want to make an impact. I want to make a difference. I want to build a bridge. I want to make it easier for New England talent to get noticed, to be put in position to succeed, whether that's a URL Crucible or a King of the Dot Ground Zero or an RBE 1SK or an iBattle tryout or whatever it's going to be. Like, you know, I really want to put people in position. And so, yeah, we brought back Shark Tank. May 28th was our first event. We had A-Ward out. We had Marv 1 out. Real Deal King of the Dot champ out. We had Elijah Strait, Gwitty, Sonny, a few other people. We've got another card coming up in October, which is going to be ridiculous. It's going to be a really, really big card. A lot of your favorite names in battle rap are going to be out in Boston for this. I can't wait to start announcing it. But I'm really excited for it. Really excited for it. I don't think I'm going to battle on this one. But yeah, man. So far I've loved it, and I love, you know, the difference now, Cope, between, you know, back then when I was doing it before is I feel like I have more reach, and so it's easier for me to not only attract bigger names to come to the league to battle some of my guys, but it's easier for me to be like, you know, hey, Cope, you throw an event in Vancouver, I've got a guy for you if you need some talent. I didn't. Not only did I not have those contacts before, but I didn't really have that influence, or I didn't have that, you know, that ability. And so I feel like I'm in such a better position now to help the region and help people get noticed and help people get shine, that the timing of it just felt perfect. It just felt like it was right. Like I'm literally entering, I feel like, a stage of my life where I just want to help. I just want to do for others. You know what I mean? Like, I've had my time in battle rap and I've made my impact, and I'll continue to battle and do what I can do. But, you know, between Pendulum Inc. and Shark Tank, like I just want to help people. I just want to give out the knowledge, give out the tips, the tricks, the cheat codes. I want to help people reach their potentials in any way I can. You know what I mean? So that's like where I'm at right now in my life.
That's beautiful. I love that. You know, it's like grind time is back, Shark Tank is back, battle rap's come full circle, you know.
Man, it's feeling retro out here, Cope.
Great. Path, you got one?
Yeah. I was just gonna ask, what does the landscape for you feel like when it comes to battle rap right now, with the resurgence of grind time, with GTX, with RBE having their 1SKs and bringing in a new group of talent, URL doing everything they're doing, King of the Dot with the season. Do things feel better now than they have for the last few years? Or do you think there's almost too much happening and it's watering it down?
So here's this is going to be an interesting concept, right? Like, part of me feels like is a little too much, but only because the increase of events and the increase of leagues and shows, I don't think we're seeing an increase of talent being exposed, right? So, like, we are getting RBE events, we are getting URL events, we are getting King of the Dot, we are getting, you know, but we're still seeing a rotation of the same 20 to 25, you know, top tier, mid tier names. And you would hope that, all right, if there's going to be more leagues and more shows and more events, let's shake it up, right? Let's get some talent from New England. Let's get some talent from Vancouver. Let's get some talent from LA, and let's give them a chance to be a star, right? Let's not just book the guys we know can sell tickets, but let's put other people in position to be a guy that sells tickets by putting him on these cards and giving him a chance to build his fan base. So I do feel like it's kind of watered down in terms of like how many, there's an event every week almost, depending on what leagues you follow. But I would feel less that way, Path, if more people were getting those opportunities on those pay-per-views, on those caffeines, those Twitches. Like if we were seeing more different talent, I would love it. It would be great. I feel like we would see it would be an even bigger renaissance and a bigger, kind of like rebirth and resurgence of battle rap. But we're just seeing the same guys. We're seeing the same guys headlining. We're seeing the same guys at the bottom of the card. There's very little upward movement in battle rap. It's very hard to go from, a mid-tier or local guy and ascend to a point where you can get booked on a Gnome or a Summer Madness or a Blackout. It's like the upward mobility is I don't even know if it's really there at this point. Like if you look at the bigger picture of like there being thousands of battlers, and really there's 30 to 40 battlers that get shoved in our face all the time. It's just weird. I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know if that's a politics thing. I don't know if that's a business thing, but it's just weird to me. I know, and I know you do also, Cope. Like we know people that are really fucking good, and have been really fucking good for a long time. Like who, if you were to ever put them on a Blackout or a Gnome or Summer Madness, they probably fucking kill it.
It's facts. Yeah, it's interesting because I think that was part of the mission statement when Disaster brought back GTX. He and Lush were talking about how they didn't want to talk about big names or book people who had big followings. They wanted to book talent, people who they knew were going to be good.
Yeah.
And I think that they've had success with that. It's only been 2 events so far, but I think they've had relative success with that.
Yeah, so, I agree. They booked Theory Truth for Active.
Yeah.
He's a guy that battles a lot in my region, so I was happy to see that. Wish the battle had gone a little better for him, but I was glad to see him at least have the opportunity. You know what I mean? And we need more of that, I think, in battle rap.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, I got one for you. Why? What do I ask these guys? Find Mercy on Mars asks, why did you look like a completely different person against Tay-Rock?
That's a good question, actually. I wanted what I was going for.
You've been asked this before, right? Like,
I was asked this once, like right after the battle,
right?
But after like seeing the feedback after it's like been released and stuff, it's been really interesting because I know the majority of people did not like my look against Tay-Rock. I had the no hat, I had the shades, I had my fashion was a little different. And I can't remember who I was talking to. It might have been it was a battler. Maybe Loso. I can't remember, but I was talking to someone and they were like, "Yo, Chilla, you beat Tay-Rock, but we hated how you looked." And they were like, and he was like, "Yo, the fans probably know that you beat Tay-Rock, but they're not going to give you the battle because they hated the way you looked." So and that like plays into the perception of that battle, I think, for so many people. They're like, this is not the Chilla we're used to. The Chilla we're used to is hungry. He's got a hat or a hoodie on.
He's got a hat. Where's the hat?
He's like he has a whole different persona, right? This is new. Like we don't want this, right? Like so it was just different. But that, I was going for, I was hoping to create a different look or to have a different look that people embraced, right? I wanted people to be like, yo, in a good way, this is not the Chilla we usually see. You know what I mean? It
Right.
just happened to be in more of a bad way, I think, in the eyes of most. But even 10 years in, man, you live and you learn.
Right. I mean, it's probably the battle where the clothes have drawn the most attention. I mean, I can't think of another one where like what you're wearing is the main topic of discussion.
Right.
So unusual how that can happen.
But that's battle rap, especially in 2022, man. If it feels like in this era, Cope, everything matters, but what happens during the battle, like everything else matters. How's the promo? How are they dressed? Where do they work? Like who's their girlfriend or boyfriend? Like everything is a factor outside of but how'd the battle go? Like you went to the event and I haven't heard anything about any of the battles. You're just telling me who came in with who wore what this person was doing, who almost fought. But did you watch the battles? Like how'd those go? You know what I mean? Like so different nowadays.
Yeah, it's intangibles. Gotta have it.
Gotta have it. Gotta have it.
Pat, you got one?
I was just gonna say perception's a funny thing too, and that even plays into, in your opinion, who do you think creates the narrative that there's a difference between the big stage and a small room? Because is that the fans that create that themselves, or do the battlers play into it also, and then the fans follow along and go, wow, no, we don't want him for a big stage because he's a small room guy?
Yeah. I think both play a role, to be honest with you. Because I can tell you that being a big stage rapper, I know for battlers is also associated with money, right? Big stage events are more, grandioso. They're huge. They get looked at like, your Summer Madnesses with celebrities that show up, and it gets looked at a certain way if you're on those cards. And so there's a sense of pride, I think, when most battlers say, yeah, well, I'm more of a big stage rapper. That's kind of like a dickhead way of saying like, oh, well, I get booked on the big cards. You know what I mean? like that's all it really is. You know what I mean? And so that's a lot of times when people use that, it's like a flex. You know what I mean? Like nobody wants to be the small room guy. But it's on the flip side, I feel like small room guys such as myself are like, I feel like we create the best battles. Like we create the better content, right? Which I know people care less and less about every day. But it's true in my opinion, right? Like who do you watch like the most? It's the Rum Nitties, it's the JCs, it's the New Jersey Twerks, it's the and that's that's no offense to big stage guys, because there's a talent for that too, but I just feel like the big stage, small stage thing, man, when it comes to battlers, it comes down to like money. When it comes to fans, I think it's their way of like justifying who gets booked where, right? Like, yeah, Chilla's a small room guy, so we don't need to see him on Summer Madness or Gnome, even though I've done Gnome. Or vice versa. Like Hitman, oh, he's a big stage guy. I don't want to see him in a volume. I don't want to see him in a in a venue that holds less than 300 people, because like he's Hitman. So I think both sides feed into the narrative of like, big stage or small stage, but they're not as different as it's made out to be. You know what I mean? Like me battling Tay-Rock on Gnome was in the same room that I battled Kid Chaos on the volume. Yeah. The only difference is the amount of people that they allowed into the space.
Damn.
But like, obviously the pandemic played a part in that, but like just in general, it's not that different. The biggest difference is how you manage or control the crowd. But everything else, it's really not that different.
Okay, I've got a question from user BAW guy. What is the story with Nitty leading writer's block for Team Hami? Is that even factually accurate?
Yeah, it is. But that's so long ago, man. And I addressed it in the battle. Essentially, Nitty just had a better relationship with the Team Hami guys. I mean, it's no bad blood. It was no, no toxic. There's no real big story behind it. It would be like, if I'm cooler with a different battle rapper who's in a different clique, I might naturally leave whoever I was cool with at the time and go do something different. You know what I mean? There's no, it's all love to Nitty. Nitty's probably my favorite battler right now. I don't, no bad blood or anything like that toward Nitty. It made for a great battle rap angle in our battle, but
there you go.
It's really nothing.
It's the intangibles again. It's just got to get with the whole join multiple battle rap crews all the time. I'm in like 7 right now, and I think that's
just rack them up.
Sweet spot.
Rack them up. Rack them up.
Okay, you got a question from Mundy. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But who do you think was the best industry head to try their hand at battling? Tough one.
Let's do this. Who are we considering industry heads?
Yeah, right. I guess it's the big names.
Yeah, I mean, like does Mickey Fax count? Does King Los count? Cannabis, yes. Obviously. Cassidy. Who am I missing? Am I missing someone? I mean, I'm not gonna count Keith Murray, or I'm not gonna do that.
Joe Star.
I don't want to do that. I would say it's not Cannabis.
Although he has the most quotables, I'm just saying.
Yeah. I totally agree. His battle may have been the most impactful, if we're being honest.
For real.
Even no matter how it turned out. I would say, I enjoyed King Lowe's versus DNA. I enjoyed him less versus Daylight, but it was still decent. I think Cassidy improves every battle. I would say the best performance by an industry guy, pardon me, would either be King Lowe's versus DNA or Mickey Fax, if he counts, versus Daylight.
Mickey Fax.
Coincidentally, where do you expect Crooked Eye to fit into that once him and Disaster battle?
I always get scared for industry guys who I've never seen at an event or show a clear understanding of like the creative process behind what we do, because I think a lot of industry guys think rapping really good is like enough. I wish they could find out it wasn't, without hundreds of thousands of people getting to find out with them. Where do I think Crook will land? I think Crook is a master lyricist. Love his music. But battle rap is just different, man. I don't know that he will exceed either of those performances from King Los or Mickey Fax. I would say he probably will do better than Cannabis. I would put him probably right side by side with Cassidy if I had to put him anywhere. I really hope he has people around him who may be battlers to help. And I think Cassidy started to get better when he started to mingle with us, and he started to, hang out with Danny and Rex and certain people, and like be around us, and like then you could see Cassidy start to adapt a little bit. But like, I don't know, man. Like even for the Cassidy Freeway thing that is rumored to be coming up at some point on URL, like I'm terrified for Freeway, bro. Like terrified for Freeway. You know, in the same way I'm terrified for Crook. So, you know, it'll make for exciting entertainment.
Yeah.
When it happens, but man, it's scary stuff. Scary stuff.
It's so different. I mean, yeah, there's storytelling, there's the imagery, there's you know, I mean, there's so many different facets. We'll see how he does.
Yeah.
If you could run back one battle, user Mr. Catatonia asks, if you could run back one battle, who would it be with and why? Real deal. Let's go.
You beat me to it. No. Man, I want to get really nerdy with this question, but then part of me doesn't.
Do it.
The nerdy part of me wants to ask, am I going back in time to redo this battle, or am I just redoing the battle in the current time?
Okay, it's not time travel. It's back as in
right now.
Let's do it again.
Iron Solomon. The reason why I would pick Iron Solomon is not because it was a bad battle. It was a really good fucking battle. And I think we both did really well. I just feel like it could have been so much better, only because our preparation time was so short. My original opponent was Averb. When Averb got the call to battle Murder Mook, he backed out on us with about 17 days before the event. And so, you know, we looked around, you know, salute to Bishop Brigante. We looked around for, you know, we thought about Iron, we thought about Big K, we thought about O-Red, and then there was somebody else, maybe Ill Will. We thought about a few different names, and you know, Iron is really the one that I wanted, and you know, Iron happened to be down for it. You know what I mean? Which I don't think either of us was really expecting him to say yes, even though we had discussed it. But I know how Iron is. He's very particular. He you know, I know he did it with me and JC also, but I feel like normally Iron wants time. Not only does he want time to think about the battle, but he wants time to prepare. He doesn't usually jump into something. He's like, all right, 2 weeks, I gotta, you know, usually he's very meticulous. So I would love to rematch Iron and we have like 2 or 3 months to really just lock in and really like bring our absolute best stuff. Because I think it can be a battle that mimics, you know, the success that him and Nitty had in terms of impact.
Right. Yeah. The writing with that much time is just like, just adds to the replay value. There's something else that happens creatively with a short window of preparation. Do you find that it's, you know, sometimes too much time is kind of works against you?
Detriment. Absolutely. And I didn't always feel that way. You know, I definitely at times would always feel like, man, I guess maybe out of jealousy or envy, I would be like, man, all these big names, your Mooks, your Luxes, your man, they get announced in January for a battle happening in June. So I can only imagine how long ago they actually signed the contract. And it's like, man, they have 6, 7, 8 months to give us their best showing, right? And then here goes URL, and you know, they call me 11 days before the event. And then the fans are going to compare my stuff against the 8-month guy, right? Like, how do I compete? And so I used to cope, like, get really annoyed by that. And then I thought about it, and I was like, man, some of my best battles are like 3 or 4 weeks. 2, 3 weeks, 3, 4 weeks, like, focus, get into it, memorize it, and go. Very natural. I don't have time to second guess things. I don't have time to edit things too much or get too much in my head. Like, I write, I put it together with confidence, and I go. You know what I mean? when I've had more time, I've done more surgery, quote unquote, to my rounds. I've taken things out that after the battle, I'm like, man, I really should have had that in because that crowd would have loved the humor, and I took this huge angle out that maybe could have made them laugh. Right. So more time definitely can be a detriment, Cope, especially if you're somebody who overthinks or you're somebody that's like too strategic or too cerebral at times, and I feel like I definitely walk that line. My perfect, like, comfortable window is probably like 4 to 6 weeks. 4 to 6 weeks is like I have time to brainstorm, I have time to put my ideas together, I have time to craft it the way I want, and just enough time to memorize it to where it doesn't start to get stale because I've rehearsed it too much. And that's another issue where it's like, I've had these rounds for 2 months. I don't battle for 2 more months. And now I hate my first round. I loved it when I wrote it, but I've heard it so much. It's like, it's not as good. And then you got to like rap it for people who haven't heard it to like get that feeling back. It's, you know what I'm talking about, Cope. It's a lot.
I'm going through that right now.
It sucks. It sucks.
All the way through 2023. So
it sucks. It sucks. 4 to 6 weeks, that's my window, man. Give me 4 to 6 weeks for a battle. That's the perfect amount of time.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. I like that. Pat, you got one?
Yeah, my question is, now we are getting nerdy about it. So now you are going back in time and redoing it.
Okay. Okay. If I'm going back in time to redo it, it would have to be the DNA battle. It would have to be Gnome 3, Kevin Durant, Adrian Broner, Jada Kiss, all these people on stage. It was my first battle on a big stage. It was my first battle with more than maybe 300 people in the room. It's happened to be 3,000. And I'm battling a prime seasoned DNA, right?
Yeah.
For as incredible as I feel like my writing was in that battle, there was so much I didn't know. There was so much I had to learn. There was so much that wasn't told to me. Like it was, I was dropped in the pond and told to swim. You know what I'm saying? And now that I know how to swim, I would love to have gone back in time and redid that battle with the knowledge I have now and the wisdom and the experience. That would be the battle that I would redo. And I'm really interested how that would change the trajectory of my career. I love my career and everything that I've accomplished, but I wonder what a consensus 3-0 win over DNA in that battle, I wonder what that gets me. And I wonder where that puts me, right? So that would be the battle.
As a segue from that, one of our users, what his name is, user Rapocrates, which I guarantee is his name. He's asking, who's your toughest opponent? Like, that situation that you outlined sounds like a pressure cooker, but is that your toughest opponent? Is that the person where you were like, this is gonna be fucking?
Mentally, it was either Daylight, and that has to do with his unpredictability. Like, you don't in 2014, you did not know what was going to happen when you booked a battle with Daylight. You were gonna show up and he was gonna shit on the stage, or you were gonna show up and he was gonna be dressed like Morpheus, or you were gonna show up and he wasn't gonna show up, or you were gonna show up and he was gonna be dressed as a Crip in a box, like, or he was gonna show up and rap really fucking good, right? But that was just like one of the many different options, right? So I'll never forget showing up to that venue, being called on stage, seeing Method Man walk in to host that battle, and then standing on stage for 10 minutes because people couldn't find Daylight. Imagine what went through my head in those 10 minutes. He's about to come out dressed as a fucking Lucky the Leprechaun, the Celtics logo, and do a whole like Celtics, like I was like, I was sure he was gonna pop out in a costume, and we were gonna go viral for something ridiculous. Luckily,
Philly fanatic.
right. Luckily he just rapped really good, and we just made a really good battle. The other battle though, Cope, it was my last battle with Deal. Like, what more is there to say after you write 6 3-minute rounds for somebody?
Real.
What more do I have to say to you? Especially somebody you consider one of your better friends.
Yeah.
What do I have to say to you? We don't even talk on the phone this much. I don't have, I don't have anything. I don't have anything left. I don't have any more ways to flip Real or Deal or Trevor or Weller. I don't, you know what I mean? So like, although I loved having a third battle, and it was extremely challenging and tough, and with all of the circumstances around it, I still think it was a great battle. But man, writing those 3 rounds, it felt like I was scraping my creative pot. Like, is there a name flip in there? Give me that. Okay, is there an angle in this? All right, let me. Like it, I was at my wit's end. Like I don't even know how I put those rounds together, man. Like I was at the very last of my fabric, bro.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I think everybody appreciates that too. They all know and they see and they're like, man, these guys, I mean, that was the talk after the battle was like, what absolute champions these guys are for this again.
Yeah.
Just super impressive. Before we wrap this up, we got maybe like one question left. Pat, you got one?
Well, I don't know if it's good enough for the last question.
Okay, well, I'll save one more for the last. We got Sci-Fi Guy 108 wants to ask one more. Well, he wants to ask, where did you get the vest that you wore versus beat up from? And you know what? That's not the only question asking about the vest. These people are obsessed with fashion.
That was a custom made vest by a Boston designer.
Let's go.
So it was really my effort to help get some of her work out there. She's done stuff for, like, I don't want to get any of the names wrong. She's done stuff for a lot of notable people in hip hop. And so when I met her at an event, and she was like, "Yeah, I watch battle rap. I would love to make you something, you know what I'm saying, for one of your battles." And so I knew a lot of people would be watching it because in the eyes of many, that battle was like a very important determining factor in like the champion of the year for that year. So, I wanted to give her a little bit of shine for that. So the fact that everybody got a kick out of it kind of works in her favor. You know what I mean? Like, because people talk about this vest all the time and it's attached to her brand. You know what I'm saying? So
there it is. This is
worked out.
Worked out.
All right, I'm asking my question, and then Cope can decide whether or not that's the one to end it on.
Okay.
Let's do it.
You have your choice. Any up-and-coming guy to give a shot to. Who's the one up-and-coming guy that you give a shot to that you think would match up to be a great battle?
Few names come to mind. The number one name that comes to mind is Homeschool. That's something that we've talked about a little bit on iBattle with Lex. I think his penmanship is super dope. He reminds me a little bit. I know he battled Ellipsis recently, but reminds me a little bit of Ellipsis, who I also rate really high. That would probably be my pick, but I mean, there are other people I like. I like Joey Gambello. I like Payne from Ohio. He's really dope. He's on RBE right now. There's a few people from my region even. I like Jagga Josh. He's really dope. I like Just DJ from Connecticut. He's really dope. There's a few different people, man. And, I know there's a lot of up-and-comers out there who would like to battle me. you know, and I don't really duck a lot of smoke, if any. So, I'm always down, if the business is right. I love to travel, man. I'll pull up and have a good time in your town for sure. I would say probably homeschool though. If I had to pick somebody else that's been getting a lot of mentions with me has been Fate. I think from California. I think he was on that GTX card the other night, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people have brought up Fate also, and potentially seeing us battle maybe on the Riot or something like that, or GTX. So I wouldn't be against that either. I think Fate's really dope. I also think homeschool is really dope.
Good answer. Yeah, good answer.
Yeah.
Very comprehensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. So yeah, that's pretty much all of the good questions. And shouts out to everybody who didn't get their question answered.
There was a question about a certain article that was brought up in a certain battle, but I don't think that we're going to ask that.
An article?
Bring it. What was the article?
The magazine.
Oh, the Saga battle.
Yeah.
Oh,
gentlemen who wanted to know what Playboy issue that was.
Oh, yo, I don't quote me on it, but it was. I feel like it was some type of anniversary issue. I don't know what it was. I just know that it was like Pam Anderson was on the front.
iconic.
The battle happened in November of 2015. So if that helps whoever's asking to find it or to figure it out, that bay, I'm pretty sure it had just come out that month. But
Amazing.
Yeah.
Classic.
And on that note, yeah, we would like to, thank you everybody who asked questions, and thank you, Chilla, for spending a little time with us today. And definitely check out Pendulum Inc. and Shark Tank. We'll leave links in the description below. Is there anything else you want to plug?
Nah, that's really it, man. PendulumInc.com. Follow Jones Inc. 2020 on Instagram, and then of course for all things Chilla Jones, www.chillajones.com. Appreciate
It's got a website. That's how it is. Cool. Thank you so much for coming through, and we will catch you next time. We eagerly await.
Awesome. Peace, guys.
Chilla Jones.